going to learn how to draw in 1-point perspective, and we're going to start with an easy object first, which is going to look like there's a box drawn to look 3D. So, to begin with, you're going to take an object like a ruler to help you draw the eye level line. If you don't have a ruler, find anything in your vicinity that can help you draw a straight line, like possibly the edge of the box of a set of colored pencils. Okay, so I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to turn it horizontal, so it's going side to side, and I'm going to lightly draw a horizontal line, and that is called the eye level line. So I want you to label that line ELL to represent eye level line. Then we're going to put a dot on the eye level line, and that is called your vanishing point. So your vanishing point, the definition says the point at which all objects disappear or grow out from. So above that dot, I'm going to label that VP for vanishing point. Okay, then we're going to start out by drawing the front of the object. So if we're going to draw a box, we're going to start with a square or a rectangle shape, and we want to draw this on the eye level line, which means the line is going to go through the middle of our box. So somewhere opposite from my vanishing point, I'm going to use my ruler and I'm going to draw a box. That's either a square or a rectangle, and I want that eye level line going through it towards the middle. Then step 3 from our definition says that now we're going to draw converging lines. Converging lines are diagonal lines that meet at the vanishing point. So that dot that I made is my vanishing point. Converging lines are always diagonal, and I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to line up the vanishing point to the corner of my box, and I'm going to lightly draw that diagonal line. I need to repeat that. On the bottom corner closest to my vanishing point, I'm going to set my ruler down, line it up with my vanishing point, and I'm going to lightly draw the diagonal converging line. Now I want to finish the edge of my box because I'm going to be representing the front plus the side of my box. So now I'm on number 4 definition, which is to draw parallel lines. So I like to explain to my students to take your pencil and hide the vertical line that you drew that was the side of your box. I'm going to cover it up with my pencil. I'm going to leave my pencil there, and now I'm going to pick up my ruler. I want my ruler to be parallel to my pencil. And if they are parallel, they are not touching and they're not going to cross over each other. This would not be parallel because they're touching right here. So I'm going to set my ruler so it's parallel. You decide how long you want the side of your box to be. Hold your ruler still, pick up your pencil, and in between the 2 converging lines that you drew, you're going to draw that parallel line. Now, I want to make it look like my box is solid and not see-through. So, now I'm going to get my eraser, and I'm going to erase the eye level line that's going through the box. And then I ended up darkening my converging lines where my box is located. But now I can also erase my diagonal converging line that I don't need anymore. So when I finish, I'm looking at the front of the box plus a side of the box. And then just for practice, go ahead and label this diagonal line here CL for converging line. And then we have this diagonal line here, label that CL for converging line. And now this vertical line, you can label that PL for parallel line because it is parallel to the vertical line that made the side of my box. So now we just drew a box in 1-point perspective on the eye level line. But now we're going to change our perspective, and now we're going to draw above the eye level line. So way up top here, I'm going to draw a box, and you can decide if you want it to be a square or a rectangle. And now I'm going to use the same vanishing point and the same eye level line, and I'm going to repeat the process. I just drew the front of my object. So now I'm going to add the third definition, which are my converging lines. Converging lines are always diagonal that connect at the vanishing point. So I have two corners that are closest to my vanishing point that are going to get a diagonal converging line. I'm going to put my ruler on the vanishing point and one in the top corner. And I'm going to lightly draw that diagonal converging line. I'm going to repeat that in the bottom corner, line it up to my vanishing point, lightly draw that converging line. But now I also have this bottom left corner that's going to get a diagonal converging line. And now I need to draw in my parallel lines. So just like we did down here, I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to hide the vertical line, that's the side of my box. Now I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to make my ruler parallel to my pencil. They should not be crossing. I'm going to hold that ruler still and pick up my pencil. I drew three diagonal converging lines. I have a top, a middle, and a bottom. I'm only going to draw the parallel line between the top and the middle converging line, and then I'm going to stop. This is now my corner for the bottom of my box. So now I have to add a second set of parallel lines. So now I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to lay it across the bottom edge of my box. Now I'm going to get my ruler and I have to put my ruler in that bottom corner, and I want my ruler to be parallel to my pencil so they do not cross, they do not touch. Pick up your pencil, and now you're going to start in that corner and you're going to draw that parallel line until you hit the converging line and stop. Now you are finished. You have drawn a box in 1 point perspective above the eye level. So I'm going to erase the converging lines that I don't need anymore. And now when you look at your drawing, what you just created, and I can darken these lines, I just drew a box in 1 point perspective. So I see the front, I still see the side, but because it's above the eye level, I now see the bottom of that box. So now we're going to practice drawing below the eye level line. The process is always the same. I'm going to draw the front of my object. So I'm going to draw a square or a rectangle. Now I'm going to add my diagonal converging lines. My diagonal converging lines are always going to connect at the vanishing point. So I'm going to lightly draw that diagonal line in the top left corner. Now I'm going to slide my ruler over. The top right corner is going to get connected to my vanishing point. And now this bottom right corner is going to get connected to my vanishing point. So now I have my front. And now I need to add my parallel lines in so that I see the side of the box plus the top of the box because I'm below my eye level. So I'm going to take my pencil, set my pencil on the vertical line that made the edge of my box. I'm going to get my ruler and make my ruler parallel to my pencil so they do not cross. When I look at my drawing, I've got three converging lines. I'm only going to draw the segment that starts at the middle of the converging line, and I'm going to stop when I hit the bottom. Now I have to change directions. I'm going to take this pencil and I'm going to cover up the top edge of my box. Now I'm going to take my ruler. I have to make my ruler parallel, but it also needs to connect into the corner. So I'm going to pick up my pencil. My ruler is in the corner right here. It is parallel to the top of the box, and I'm going to draw from the corner until that converging line, and I'm going to stop. So now I finished my box that's in 1 point perspective below my eye level line. Now I can see the top plus a side. And now I can get my eraser and erase away the diagonal converging lines that I don't need anymore. So this is the beginning of learning how to draw in 1 point perspective, where we have one vanishing point. We see the front of the object. We see a side of the object, and depending on where you drew it, if it's above your eye level, you'll see the bottom. If it's below the eye level, you'll see the top. If it's right on the eye level, you're not going to see the top or the bottom.